Some places in the world welcome tourists with open arms. Others? Well, not so much. These are the places you're not supposed to visit, whether due to extreme danger, government restrictions, or nature reclaiming what humans abandoned. But that just makes them all the more fascinating. From entire islands swallowed by radioactivity to top-secret government facilities, these forbidden zones hold stories of tragedy, secrecy, and sometimes straight-up weirdness. Some are too toxic for life, others are guarded like national treasures, and a few remain mysteries, with theories ranging from classified military project to portal to another dimension. So, if you've ever wanted to know about the places you can't go, this video is for you. And trust us, by the end, you'll be very glad you're watching from a safe distance. Let's start with number 15, North Sentinel Island, India. Some places are off limits because of governments, laws, or treaties. North Sentinel Island? It's forbidden because the people who live there will kill you if you show up uninvited. Home to the Sentinelese, one of the last uncontacted tribes on Earth. This island in the Bay of Bengal is a place frozen in time. The Indian government has made it strictly illegal to approach the island, both to protect the Sentinelese and to avoid exposing them to modern diseases they have no immunity. But honestly, the biggest reason to stay away is that they do not want visitors. Boats that have drifted too close have been met with volleys of arrows. In 2006, 2 fishermen who strayed near the island were killed. Even a missionary who tried to make contact in 2018 was reportedly speared to death. The Sentinelese have survived without the modern world for thousands of years, and they seem intent on keeping it that way. Number 14, Area 51, USA. Area 51. The granddaddy of all forbidden places. Officially, it's a top-secret U.S. Air Force testing facility in Nevada. Unofficially, it's the world's most famous alien conspiracy hotspot. For decades, Area 51 was barely acknowledged by the U.S. government, fueling endless speculation about what really happens there. Spy planes, advanced weapons, extraterrestrial autopsies, the theories are endless. What's not up for debate is that this place is seriously restricted. Armed guards patrol the perimeter, warning signs make it clear that trespassing is a terrible idea, and security cameras track every movement near the site. The secrecy has only added to its mystique. In 2019, a viral event called Storm Area 51 had millions joking about running to the base to see them aliens. In reality, that would be the last sprint of your life. Whatever's in there, the U.S. government is very serious about keeping it under wraps. Number 13, Poveglia Island, Italy. Venice is famous for its stunning canals and romantic gondola rides, but just a short boat trip away lies Poveglia Island, one of the most haunted places in the world, and you are definitely not allowed to set foot there. Poveglia has a dark, gruesome past. During the 18th and 19th centuries, it was used as a quarantine station for plague victims. Thousands of people lived and died there, their bodies burned and buried in mass graves. But it gets worse. In the 20th century, Poveglia became a mental asylum where rumors of unethical experiments and tortured patients turned it into something straight out of a horror movie. Today, the island is abandoned, its decaying buildings slowly being swallowed by nature. The Italian government has banned public access, but thrill seekers have still tried sneaking in. Most don't last long. Stories of eerie whispers, ghostly figures, and an overwhelming sense of dread tend to send people running. Number 12, Snake Island, Brazil. Most islands are associated with paradise. This one is associated with instant death. Ilha da Queimada Grande, better known as Snake Island, is so dangerous that the Brazilian government has banned anyone from setting foot on it, and for good reason. This island, about 90 miles off the coast of São Paulo, is home to an estimated 4,000 golden lancehead vipers, one of the deadliest snakes in the world. Their venom is so potent it can melt flesh and kill a human in hours. Oh, and these snakes don't just live on the island. They own it. There's roughly 1 viper per square meter, meaning that if you set foot on Snake Island, you'd literally be surrounded. Legends say the last lighthouse keeper and his family were killed by the vipers in their sleep. These days, the only people allowed to visit are a few researchers, and even they have to get special government permission. For everyone else, best to admire this death trap from afar. Number 11. Lascaux Caves, France. Tucked away in southwestern France, the Lascaux Caves contain some of the most breathtaking prehistoric art ever discovered. But don't get too excited about visiting, because you can't. Discovered in 1940, these caves hold nearly 600 paintings, created over 17,000 years ago by early humans. The artwork, depicting horses, stags, and ancient bison, is a stunning window into our distant past. For a brief time, the caves were open to the public, but that turned out to be a terrible idea. Exposure to human breath, light, and bacteria began damaging the fragile paintings. Mold and fungi spread, threatening to erase history. In 1963, the caves were closed permanently. Only a handful of scientists are allowed inside each year under strict conditions. If you want to see the art, there's a replica cave nearby for tourists. But the real thing? Locked away, protected from humanity, including you. Number 10. Surtsey Island, Iceland. Most islands have been around for thousands, if not millions, of years. Surtsey? It wasn't even on the map until 1963 when an underwater volcanic eruption off the coast of Iceland gave birth to an entirely new landmass. And from the moment it emerged, scientists decided, no humans allowed. Surtsey is one of the world's youngest islands, and its total isolation makes it the perfect laboratory. Researchers use it to study how ecosystems develop from scratch, watching as mosses, birds, and insects slowly take over. Because of this, access is strictly limited to a handful of scientists. No tourists, no casual visits, and absolutely no outside interference. To preserve Surtsey's pristine environment, even accidental contamination is taken seriously. In one infamous incident, a scientist accidentally dropped a tomato in the soil. Months later, a tomato plant started growing, an alarming reminder of how easily human presence can alter nature. The plant was immediately destroyed. So yeah, if a tomato isn't welcome, you definitely aren't either. Number 9. The Chernobyl Exclusion Zone, Ukraine. If ever there was a place that screamed, "You really shouldn't be here," it's this zone. Covering 1,000 square miles around the infamous Chernobyl nuclear power plant, this area remains one of the most radioactive places on Earth. When reactor number 4 exploded on April 26, 1986, it released massive amounts of radiation into the air, forcing more than 300,000 people to evacuate. Entire cities like Pripyat were abandoned overnight, leaving behind empty schools, crumbling apartment blocks, and Ferris wheels that never got to finish their last ride. Although radiation levels have dropped significantly, the zone is still dangerous. Certain areas remain lethal, and hotspots of radiation exist even in places that appear safe. Despite this, guided tours are allowed in some parts, though visitors have to follow strict safety protocols. Stay too long, touch the wrong thing, or wander off the path, you might leave with a souvenir that glows in the dark. Number 8. Bohemian Grove, USA. A secretive men-only club where the world's most powerful figures gather in the woods? Sounds like a conspiracy theory, but Bohemian Grove is 100% real, and you are not getting in. Located in the redwood forests of California, Bohemian Grove is where politicians, CEOs, and billionaires go for an ultra-exclusive retreat every July. Officially, it's just a place for the world's elite to unwind, put on weird plays, and enjoy nature. Unofficially, The secrecy has fueled wild speculation, from occult rituals to backroom deals shaping global events. The highlight of this mysterious gathering? The cremation of care ceremony, where robed figures burn an effigy in front of a 40-foot-tall stone owl. Yes, really. While some say it's just symbolic, others believe it's something darker. Whatever the truth, the public is strictly forbidden from entering. Trespassers? They're met with armed security and a one-way ticket to jail, if they're lucky. Number 7. Medjugorje, Russia. Russia has a long history of secrecy, but few places are as mysterious as Medjugorje, a closed town that officially doesn't exist on maps. Located deep in the Ural Mountains, Medjugorje is completely off-limits to outsiders. No tourists, no casual visits, not even a peek inside. The reason? It's believed to house a top-secret Russian military facility, possibly linked to nuclear operations. Some reports suggest Medjugorje is connected to Mount Yamantau, where the Russian government may have built an underground bunker system, big enough to house thousands in case of nuclear war. Others think it's a command center for ballistic missiles. The truth? No one really knows. What is certain is that satellite images show continuous construction, and anyone trying to enter without permission is met by armed guards. Whatever's going on in Medjugorje, Russia and Putin want it completely off the radar. Number 6. The Vatican Secret Archives, Vatican City. Behind the grand halls of the Vatican lies a place even most cardinals will never see, the Vatican Secret Archives. A massive, heavily guarded collection of classified documents, this archive holds some of the Catholic Church's most closely guarded secrets. Stretching over 50 miles of shelves, the archives contain everything from centuries-old papal letters to documents from the Inquisition. Some of the oldest records date back over 1,200 years, and access is tightly controlled. Only select scholars are granted permission, and even they can only view specific documents. No wandering the halls, no unsupervised browsing. Conspiracy theories abound, of course. Some believe the Vatican is hiding proof of extraterrestrial life, lost religious texts that could rewrite history, or even evidence of secret pacts with world leaders. The truth? Only a handful of people know for sure. Number 5. Diego Garcia, British Indian Ocean Territory. Imagine an island so restricted that even the native population was forced out. Welcome to Diego Garcia, a strategically important military base in the middle of the Indian Ocean, where only US and British military personnel are allowed to set foot. Until the 1970s, the island was home to Chagassians, a small community who had lived there for generations. But when the US and UK struck a deal to turn it into a military base, the Chagassians were forcibly removed. Many were dumped in Mauritius and the Seychelles, left to fend for themselves. Today, Diego Garcia is one of the most important US military installations in the world, suspected to house everything from nuclear weapons to covert interrogation sites. What actually happens there? No one really knows. The island remains completely off-limits to civilians. Number 4. Tomb of Qin Shi Huang, China. Buried beneath a massive hill in Shanxi, China, lies the untouched tomb of Qin Shi Huang, the first emperor of China. Discovered in 1974, the tomb's surroundings hold one of the greatest archaeological finds in history: the Terracotta Army, thousands of life-sized clay soldiers guarding their emperor even in death. But while the warriors have been excavated, the actual tomb, completely untouched. Why? Because scientists believe it contains rivers of liquid mercury, booby traps, and priceless artifacts that modern technology isn't ready to handle. Ancient texts describe the tomb as an underground palace with replicas of China's rivers flowing with mercury, designed to keep invaders and archaeologists out. Tests on nearby soil have confirmed high mercury levels, meaning the legend might be true. The Chinese government has strictly forbidden excavation until technology improves, fearing that opening the tomb could destroy its contents or release unknown dangers. Until then, the tomb remains sealed. Number 3. Heard Island, Australia. One of the most isolated places on Earth, Heard Island is an uninhabited volcanic wasteland halfway between Australia and Antarctica. It's so remote that the nearest landmass is over 1,000 miles away, and the only way to get there is by an expedition ship which takes weeks. But the journey isn't the only reason why no one goes here. Heard Island is home to Big Ben, an active volcano that erupts frequently, sending lava and ash across the desolate landscape. There are no permanent structures, no human settlements, just glaciers, howling winds, and unpredictable eruptions. If that wasn't enough, the island's weather is brutal, with hurricane-force winds, near-constant rain, and temperatures that never rise above freezing. It's so inhospitable that even the Australian government bans entry without a special permit. Scientists occasionally visit to study the island's untouched ecosystem, but for everyone else, this is one place you'll never set foot on. Number 2. Room 39, North Korea. North Korea is full of secrets, but few are as mysterious and dangerous as Room 39, a shadowy government division that is said to control the country's illegal money-making operations. Officially, Room 39 doesn't exist, but defectors and intelligence agencies say it's the center of North Korea's black market economy, overseeing counterfeiting, drug trafficking, and weapons sales to keep the regime in power. The office reportedly runs secret bank accounts worldwide, funneling billions of dollars into the country despite international sanctions. Located inside the Workers' Party headquarters in Pyongyang, Room 39 is one of the most heavily guarded places in North Korea. No one outside the government knows exactly what happens inside, but those who have spoken out, they disappear. Attempts to expose its operations have been met with denials, threats, and assassinations. Even in a country as secretive as North Korea, this room remains one of its darkest mysteries, a place in plain sight, yet impossible to reach. Number 1. The Doomsday Vault, Norway. Deep inside a frozen mountain in Norway, the Svalbard Global Seed Vault, better known as the Doomsday Vault, holds the key to humanity's survival. This ultra-secure facility, built to withstand nuclear war, climate disasters, and global pandemics, stores seeds from nearly every crop on Earth. Designed as a backup plan for civilization, the vault protects seeds in sub-zero temperatures, ensuring they remain viable for centuries. The idea is simple. If a catastrophe wipes out crops, these seeds can replant the world's food supply. But here's the catch. You'll never get inside. Access is strictly limited to scientists and government officials. Even if you could get to Svalbard, an Arctic island closer to the North Pole than civilization, the facility itself is buried deep underground behind impenetrable security. For now, the seeds inside wait for a future we hope never comes. And if the world ever needs them, the Doomsday Vault will be our last hope for survival. If you have enjoyed this video, like and subscribe. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you soon.